if we have to take accountability. We want to keep pointing. Let's not point any more of what the government and what it is. What do black women need to change today? What are we promoting? Are you twerking? Are your friends twerking online? Are they showing their booty? Are they dressing for the streets? Are they thinking about serving a man? Most black women today, it is sacrilegious. It is almost insulting them to say serve a man a plate. It is like discombobulate them. It's almost they get aggressive and mad and call you a pick me for giving a man a plate, taking his plate. You want some more to drink? You want some more to eat? It's a pleasure. Maggie and I were having a conversation like most black women don't know the joy, and I'm not blaming. Get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm saying this from a point of view that a lot of black women don't know the other side of this conversation. We're talking about it is a joy to see a man light up. Like, what's for dinner? Like, excited about bringing the plate, and he's so satisfied. You think you have to be sexual to make a man so happy and want you? I'm going to tell you what, we come in, and I'm serving your man, I'm taking him. Like, he's gone. He's out of your life. Why? Because I'm coming in with wife features. I don't have to dress a certain way. I don't have to do certain. I don't have to twerk. We have been sexualized. And what you have to understand, the way we are behaving today in our mindsets, we want to blame the government, but you have to understand the mindsets we have today, the independent, sexualized ways that we are. You ought to be mad that's how you have to be, our culture has become, because it has been put upon us.
Okay, so for me, my perception, I do agree with a lot of what you're saying, but for me, it comes from a place of, let's talk about self-worth. And let's talk about how black girls and black women can increase our self-worth. And therefore, you're coming from a place of help. Because if you're talking about other cultures, the Jewish culture, any other cultures, they are a community, and they don't, I feel like it's only our culture that constantly talks bad about each other publicly.
It's true. It's true.
So publicly.
It's true.
So if we're going to have this conversation, you come from a place of how can we help each other and build each other up? Maggie kindly then spoke to this lady and said, can I just say, out of respect, next time, think like this. Next time, put the right things in order. And I think that was the most beneficial thing that she got from this conversation, rather than all the questions of how did this happen, and being accusatory. Come from a place that Maggie was saying, how do we help each other with building up our self-worth and kindness, and stop with the constant, well, we're this, because we are talking bad about ourselves.
But this is the thing. Black women want this soft tone, but we don't give what we want to receive. So we are talking about, but Maggie did, but look at most black women today. There's an aggression. There's a dominance. There is a thing. And I understand, because most of us have been raised very masculine, because we didn't have fathers in the home. Our mothers relied on us. Our mothers didn't teach us certain things. So we want what we're not giving out to the world. So you want the tone of Maggie, then be Maggie. Like, no one's making us choose the things. Everyone comes from somewhere. My mother was at 14. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But no fault of her own. Her black mother kicked her out of her house. Mm-hmm. White nuns took her in. Mm-hmm. Okay, no fault of her own. She made a choice. She didn't talk to her family for nearly 7 years. She decided to go to college. She was going to make something for herself. She went on, joined the Air Force, went to college, got her degree. The only person in her family, while the rest of them made different choices. Then she went on. I grew up in the Pentagon because of my mother. I had an internship in the White House because of my mother. Her circumstances were what they were, but she went on to make a different choice. Mm-hmm. So every time we say these things, and she raised me the way she did to try to get me the results. Doesn't mean I'm perfect. She's not perfect. None of us are perfect. But I think a lot of black women, especially Kevin Samuels, who was my mentor, a lot of black women are against him. He was one of my friends. He was my mentor. And so a lot of women got mad at his tone because they never had a father talk to them and discipline them. He sounded just like my father. So I was like home to me. Because I knew a man who loves you and loved black women, and that's what it was. That's what we were so harping on tone, and we want all this kindness, but are we giving it out? Most black women are extremely aggressive, extremely combative, aggressive, but when they say, well, you need to say it nicer, but are we giving out what we want to receive?
Maybe that's where it helps, though. If you give it, maybe it will be received, and it might just be soaked in and given right back.
And I don't say this to put our women down. I know the history of what we've gone through. This is more so we can have a conversation, be real with each other so that we as a community can get better results. If we're not real with each other, especially the older women talking to younger women, I want every woman in this room to win. I have no competition with you. A lot of your mothers are in competition with you.
Oh, trust
okay? Mm-hmm. They don't want you to win. They didn't raise you to be a wife because they didn't understand. They did the best with what they knew. And so it's not a point of putting you down. It's not a point of breaking you down, but saying, listen, we need to learn from Jewish culture. We need to learn from Latin culture.
I got a question. So are we all, so we all want to be more like Meghan Markle or less like Meghan
No,
Markle?
absolutely not. She's a narcissist. I
was
was a fan. My
question.
first time coming to the UK was to that wedding because I believed in what they were doing.
Yeah.
I recently did a video. I was the first black woman publicly on YouTube to say absolutely. Once I saw the evidence of the simping of Prince Harry and the destruction of his family, boy, but listen, Ruby Bridges, who was the first little girl in the U.S. to go into segregation in the U.S., all the schools were segregated, black and white. She was 7 years old. Went into a school for the first time, a white school. She was spit on, beat up, brutalized, and she stood what we call 10 toes. She stood taller than Meghan Markle. You do not know. You know, if you look at Martin Luther King, people who went through real racism in the world, Nelson Mandela complained less than Meghan Markle. She was only black when it was convenient. She never stood for us. Why were there no black girlfriends? And her black family she had beef with her white family. Why was her black family not there? The only black people were there were people that she saw black people as charity, or black people like Oprah, people she didn't even know. So she didn't love us. She didn't claim us. She did nothing for us. And once I opened my eyes and see she got the right one with Prince Harry being a mark and a simp, and he had a bitterness and an anger because he's the spare. But really, Y'all need to watch South Park.
I'm glad my troll question went on that direction. Can I add like one little?
No.
Okay, I will not.